Hello, everyone, and welcome to my music channel. Uh, I'd like to talk about chord qualities and the different types of chords that there are. A lot of people find this to be a very intimidating topic, and it's really not as complicated as everyone might think it is. And there's really only three types of chords, and that's how I try to think about songs when I'm playing and writing. And those types of chords are major chords, minor chords, and dominant chords. And so you might be saying, what about diminished chords and augmented? And those are just kinds of dominant chords, and other than that, you're going to get into altering chords, which are the flats and sharps you'll hear about. And so if you hear major 7 flat 5, you shouldn't freak out. It's actually just one altered note. It's you got your major 7 chord, right? And there's the flat 5. You just flat the 5 and you're good to go, man. Right? Put it up there, put it wherever you want, and that doesn't change the quality of the chord, that just alters the chord. And that's how we distinguish. But a diminished chord is in the dominant family, is a type of dominant chord. So really there's only 3 kinds: major, minor, and dominant. And that's it. It's really not that complicated. And you base all your substitutions on, what family is the chord part of, And so if you have a C major chord, okay, you can substitute that chord. If you have it in a song somewhere, you're playing a song, it's got a C major in it. It doesn't have to be the key of C major. Whatever keys have C major in them, there's quite a few. And so that means that when you're on that C major, on that chart, or on that part of the song, then you can play any kind of C major. You can play no extension. There's only 3 notes in this regular old C major cowboy chord that everybody knows, right? You can add a G to it, right? You can make it a major 7. Right? Adding 7s is probably the first thing you're going to want to do to make every song more interesting. Every song more interesting. And so that would be the first thing. You can make it a major 9, major 7, major 9. You can make it major 7, add 11, any kind of major you can play in its place. All you're really doing is changing the extension on that chord. And the same applies if it's a minor chord. You can play any kind of minor, right? You can play regular old C minor, right? Regular old C minor. You can make it a C minor 7. Any kind of C minor 7 that you know. Make it a C minor 9. I really like the sound of a C minor 9. Those are really pretty. So if it's a C dominant, it's a C7, right? That's another thing that you should take note of. Dominant chords are 7 chords, and so when you see C7 or somebody says a C7, that's a dominant chord. That's what I'm talking about. That's what they're talking about. Is you just don't put minor or major. You just put the 7, and it's considered C dominant 7. You don't write DOM or anything. For whatever reason, it just became known that way. C7 is known. It's known if you see C7 on the chart or in writing, or someone says C7, they're talking, if they don't say C major 7 or C minor 7, they're talking about a dominant chord. And so if we have C dominant 7, you always want to add your 7s, make it a 4-note chord instead of a 3-note chord. You're always going to want to do that. And then when you do play the 3-note chords, they really stand out and shine. Believe me, they still sound good. They just really don't sound good if that's all you play. You want to add color. I mean, how much color depends on your preference, but I prefer a lot of color in my playing. And what I listen to, it's more interesting. And so as long as you don't alter that chord, you can play any C dominant 7 that you know of, right? Make it a C13 as long as you don't alter it, right? Make it a C9 as long as you don't alter it. All of them fly. Dominants get a little more complicated though, because sometimes you can alter it when it's not, and sometimes, well, actually always when it's altered, then you can always play the dominant 7 as well, right on top of it. You can play both of them at the same time. Those notes will not clash. They will sound good together. I promise you. And that means you can play 2 different scales under an altered dominant, right? You could play the regular dominant scale, and you can play the altered scale. The possibilities are endless. Possibilities truly are endless. And, you start getting into homonyms and relative majors and minors. And, I mean, it's like kind of ends up being, if you're an improviser, what comes out in your improvisations is kind of like what you're just working on lately, Maybe you're working on 4th chords. Fourth chords sound cool. If that's what you're working on, it's probably going to come out in your playing. I don't know. That sounds really pretty, doesn't it? I don't know what these are. I just am utilizing this knowledge that I have that they're diatonic notes, right? So you try them out. You find patterns. You run them through the patterns. You find what sounds good, and you stick to it. Speaking of which, let's talk about diatonic notes for a minute. C major. Right? Add some passing chords and get some non-diatonic notes in there, but all that's C major, all of it. And so what do we do? You can't think of anything to do. How about start running some of your chord scales that you know and arpeggiating them, right? I just played one chord scale. How about a different one? How about let's arpeggiate and do some super sub practice. What do we mean by that? That just means you play the chord scales that you know, and you take one note, right? And you either go to the next diatonic tone or a half a step above or below, which sometimes takes you to a non-diatonic note, which gives it a very classical sound. It's let's do this in C major, okay? Oops. Non-diatonic approach note is what I did there. Those are all just diatonic notes and what we call flat second approaches. That's another great principle we should mention right now. We'll mention it. And the flat second principle means that you can approach any chord in any song ever by a chord that is one half a step above or below the targeted chord. Always. And so that's how I did that stuff, right? Right? You change. See how that follow the top note. See how I did that? That was only the whole time. But the top note did that though, which is where we start to get some interesting voice leading happening, and that's where you get all this really great sounding stuff, you know? I mean, that's where we get it. That's where we get it. Let's do some tenths in the sixth diminished scale in C major. How about that? Oops. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it useful, and I hope to see you at the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe.